Shalom, and thank you for watching this video from Aydat HaDerekh Synagogue. I hope you are liking the content we are bringing you. If you could like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, that will greatly help us. And to further help bring great content to you from our teachers, if you could please consider to donate to Aydat HaDerekh Synagogue. The link is in the description box below. Thank you for watching.
Okay, so who was the first Kohen Gadol? Aaron. Okay, hold that thought. Okay, so 2 weeks ago we read Shemini, which is on the 8th day. And today we read Achrei, which means after the death. So between those two statements, we had a very traumatic thing happen, and that was the death of Nadav and Abihu. But what's interesting is that Shemini, which was 2 weeks ago again, and today, it's all the same day in the Torah. So the 7 days prior to on the 8th day, we were in the midst of the practice of erecting and deconstructing the Mishkan. And at that time, from what I can tell, is that that was a time when the Kedusha of the Mishkan began to rise, was during that time. So it was these 7 days when the Kohen HaGadol, also known as Moshe Rabbeinu, performed the service. And at that time, Aaron and his sons served as priests, as like the support team. So on the 8th day, that's when the change was made. The current Kohen Gadol, Moshe, took off the robe and gave it to Aaron. And Moshe stepped down and became a Levi. I don't want to say just a Levi, but he became a Levi. So on the 8th day, this is the first day of the actual Mishkan service. On this day is the first day of the actual Avoda. It's also Rosh Chodesh Nisan. It's the first day of the 12 days of inauguration, where every Shevet brings, actually every Nasi of every Shevet, of every tribe, brings an offering. And if you go through the book of the Parsha Naso in Bamidbar, it details what every single tribe brings. And guess what? It's a block and copy 11 times. All 12 Shevet bring the same thing. So I think about 4 weeks ago I said Leviticus and Numbers kind of happen all at the same time, and it does. So what is happening today is happening about halfway through the book of Bamidbar, the book of Numbers. This is day one. So the Shevet Yehuda is bringing the sacrifices, bringing the gifts. And the leader is Nachshon ben Aminadav. Aminadav is Elisheva's brother. And if you don't know who that is, that's okay. Elisheva is Aaron's wife. Okay? And she is one of the most connected people in all of Torah. So if you want to talk power and might, this is the lady. So on this day, on the 8th day, the first day of Aaron's Kohen Gadolship, or whatever you want to call it, several events occurred. The first morning of Avoda was the Todas Tamid, which is a male lamb as an olah, complete burnt offering. The Rosh Chodesh Korban Chatas was given at Musaf at the end of Shachris. The first day of the inauguration festivities were brought, and in Parsha Naso from Numbers, it tells us that Nachshon ben Aminadav of Shevet Yehuda came. And this is what he brought. He brought 1 silver dish full of fine flour mingled with oil, and this is a mincha. He brought 1 silver basin full of fine flour mixed with oil for a meal offering. 1 golden pan full of incense. 1 young bullock for an olah. 1 ram for an olah. Again, a burnt offering, whole burnt offering. Nothing's left. 1 male lamb for an olah. 1 male goat for a chatas, which is a sin sacrifice. What sin? 2 oxen for a shalamim, which is a peace offering. Almost everything of that one is consumed by everybody. 5 rams for a shalamim, same thing. 5 male goats for a shalamim, 2 male lambs for a shalamim. And then the last and evening avoda was the olas tamid, which is a male lamb as an olah. That's a lot of stuff. But here, the event that dominates the parsha is this. And Nadav and Avihu, the sons of Aharon, each took his censer, put fire in it, and laid ketoris on it. Ketoris is the incense. And they offered strange fire before Hashem, which he had not commanded them. And fire came out from before Hashem and consumed them. And they died before Hashem. So let's compare what happened 2 weeks ago to what our text today says. And it says, Hashem spoke unto Moshe after the death of the 2 sons of Aharon when they drew near before Hashem and died. No further details are made. That's it. No talk about getting drunk, drinking wine before the avoda, nothing. All that is gone. Instead, the very next verse says, and Hashem spoke unto Moshe, speak to Aharon your brother, that he does not come at all times into the holy place within the veil, before the ark cover which is upon the ark, so he does not die. For I appear in the cloud before the ark cover. And there's some good clues there too. Once this statement is made, the text provides the methodologies and the structure of Yom Kippur. But anyway, when it comes to the reference of the cloud, we often, or at least I do, maybe you're smarter than I am, but when I hear of the cloud, I think of the pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night. But Leviticus 16:12 says, actually what it does, it describes part of the Yom Kippur service. And this is a deed that is performed by the Kohen Gadol exclusively. And it says, and he shall take a pan full of glowing coals. I'm taking this translation from Art Scroll. So let me change that a little bit. It says, and he shall take a fire pan of glowing coals scooped from the altar before Hashem, and 2 handfuls of finely ground aromatic incense, and bring this behind the curtain. And he shall put the incense on the fire before Hashem, so that the cloud from the incense screens the cover that is over the testimony, lest he die. So the reason why I wanted to rephrase that and use fire pan is because we're so used to hearing Nadav and Avihu having a fire pan and going in with incense and getting smoked, pun intended. The cloud in both cases is the smoke from the smoldering incense, not the presence of Hashem in the big cloud. So the Torah is ambiguous when it says the altar before Hashem, because there's a couple different altars. Because after all, where are these coals coming from? So Yoma 45b from Bavli claims that they're taken from the outside altar. And this is the altar where the sacrifices are done. The other altar is the gold altar, which is in the holy place. And in case you don't know, you got the Mishkan that has the holy place and the most holy place. Okay, so that's the difference. It's only the holy place. The Aron is in the most holy place. It's these that are used to burn the incense in the Kodesh HaKedoshim. Incense on fire pans. That is kind of the thing I've been dealing with all week. I have tried to look in every midrash that I have. I've even used DuckDuckGo, which is kind of a Google copy, trying to figure out why did these boys die? Because it isn't satisfying. To say that they were drunk doesn't make any sense. The incense, Hashem said unto Moshe, you shall take sweet spices, and the spices are stacate, onycha, and galbanum. And I know I'm butchering these. I don't have them in Hebrew here, so I can't. So I'm going by this transliteration. Sweet spices of pure frankincense, each shall be a like weight, and you shall make it incense, a perfume after the art of the perfumer, seasoned with salt and pure and holy. And that comes from Shemos 30. Again, everything, it's like the Torah is not in chronological order. So that's the recipe. And according to Torah, you don't make it, you don't smell it, you don't benefit from it. But what's interesting, I knew somebody who actually made it. She offered to show it to me. I'm like, no, I'm not interested. So fire pans and incense go together, but they seem to be a deadly combination. So Nadav and Avihu offered strange fire, and they died before Hashem. In the Korah story, which happens in the book of Numbers, fire pans appear prominently 3 different times. The story begins when 250 chieftains of the nation, led by the Levite Korah, and they bring their fire pans and incense. And a fire comes from before Hashem and consumes them. And then, to continue that story, a plague breaks out because we decide that we're going to rebel against Hashem and Moshe and Aaron. And a plague breaks out. So what does Aaron do? He grabs a fire pan with incense and runs into the town, but he doesn't die. So you got these things. What do you do with it? Why did these guys die and Aaron didn't? What is Aish Zara? So I thought, well, okay, so you got these coals and you're supposed to go in. Where's the fire? And I think what happens is the coals, that's the fire. So when you put the incense on, it smolders. But there is a textual difference between these 3 things. And it's a difference between Rabim and Yachid. Between a group and a singularity. Nadav and Avihu together bring a fire pan and incense. The 250 gentlemen who want to be the new priesthood, they come together and bring a fire pan and incense. Both of those groups die. Aharon is a singularity. He's one person who brings a fire pan before Hashem and lays incense. Now, I like to blame these ideas on the rabbis so that I can blame them when I'm wrong. I'm just joking. But I mean, it's like, this is why I went through all the texts that I could to see, did anybody else talk about this? And I can't find it anywhere. So this is a unique thing. So again, whenever I come up with an idea, I let you guys know this is something I can't back by looking at the rabbis. So again, take it or leave it. But it seems that there's something to this, and I'm going to continue to look. So what was the egregious sin committed by Nadav and Avihu? Above all things, it was entering to Kedoshim unannounced at the wrong time. I think there's still something to that as well, because it's Rosh Hodesh Nisan. It's not Yom Kippur, so there's no reason for anybody to enter the holiest place. When they were under the influence of wine or strong drink? Parashah Shemini seems to indicate that, but today's portion does not support that idea. But I look at Aharon and I think, every year on Yom Kippur, he's got to cross over that threshold where his boys died. Every year. So, who was the first Kohen Gadol? Moshe.